Let's shift our focus to college football, specifically the NCAA and its relationship with student athletes. To do this right, we need to start with me in high school. I had 2 jobs in high school. One of them was at a movie theater. The job was fine. I didn't like it very much, and I really didn't like my manager. But I did like the other employees I worked with. It wasn't terrible. I mean, actually, I guess this job is where I learned the importance of a good manager. My manager at the movie theater made up all kinds of ridiculous rules that he wanted us to follow. I did really well at this job. I was even Employee of the Month several times. The reason I was Employee of the Month was because I understood how important it was to do the weird things my manager valued. I didn't like his rules, and I certainly did not agree with them, let me tell you. But I knew I was better served to play by his silly rules. My manager was ridiculous. In fact, usually his ideas and theories ended up making us do way more work. It was unfair, and I really didn't like it. It stunk. But I did like the paycheck. So I kept my mouth shut, and I played by his rules. By playing by his rules, by playing by the rules my silly manager gave us, I was able to make a little bit of money. It wasn't a bad gig. I even got to go see movies for free every once in a while. I could take a +1. It was great. A lot of dates happened that way. It wasn't perfect by any means, but it wasn't a bad gig. Earlier this summer, Donald De La Haye, the backup kicker at University of Central Florida, gave up football because the NCAA gave him an ultimatum. They told him, if you want to play college football on scholarship, then you can't use your YouTube channel to make money. Donald De La Haye made vlogs and other kind of videos that were really just showing what his life was like. But they also showed a bit of an inside look at what it's like to be a college athlete on scholarship at UCF. Which, that could be used in theory, I guess, to sway kids in recruiting, I suppose. Donald De La Haye chose to leave the program instead of follow the instructions the NCAA gave him. They gave him an option, but the instructions were a bit ridiculous. The NCAA wanted him to first give back all the money he made, take down some of his videos, and third, he could never again make a video about football. He couldn't even talk about the NFL. He couldn't do anything, right? Donald De La Haye didn't want to do that. So instead, he gave us his full ride scholarship. He gave up his full ride scholarship. So after doing that, he called out the system the NCAA has in place. He said it's messed up, and I sort of agree. The system in place isn't perfect. The NCAA has a ton of flaws, certainly. But we can't miss the fact that Donald De La Haye made a choice. You could say he was a victim of some unfairness. Sure, totally agree with that. But he did ultimately make the choice to stop playing football. He made a YouTube video called "The Real Reason I Lost My Full D1 Scholarship Because of My YouTube Channel." In that title, he completely fails to take accountability for his choice. It should be called "The Real Reason I Chose to Give Up My D1 Football Scholarship." You know, when my brother died, I was a freshman in college. I quit school, I quit my job, and later when I was complaining about this situation to my friend Shelby, she challenged me. She said, "Yes, you were a victim of unfairness. I'm so sorry your brother died." But she pointed out that I chose to quit school, and I chose to quit my job. I had to get out of that victim mentality. It was exactly the wake-up call that I needed. Donald De La Haye is a product of his decisions, just like I was. We can't forget he chose to stop playing football. So you can't play college football and have a monetized YouTube video channel. So you can't make YouTube videos and play college football. That's the deal. I'm not saying it's right, and I'm not saying it's something I agree with, but that is the deal. That's how the world works. My other job in high school was working at a car wash. Our boss didn't let us have beards. Do you think that made any sense to us? Nope. But it didn't have to make sense, because those were simply the rules. If you want to work at the car wash, you can't have a beard. And if you want to work at the movie theater, you have to follow the ridiculous rules the manager makes up. Those are the requirements. You want to play football and get a free education? Then you can't have a YouTube channel. It sucks. It stinks. It really stinks you can't have a YouTube channel and play college football. I would love to attempt to walk onto a college football program. I'd film the process. That sounds really interesting, actually. But it also sounds like you can't actually do that, which is a shame. Not that I would anyways, but that seals the deal. I'm never playing football ever again because I can't film the process. Unfortunately, in this situation, the NCAA is the ridiculous manager, and they hold all the power. So in order to reap the benefits of having a full-ride scholarship, you have to follow their silly rules. I'm not saying that I agree with the rules, but it doesn't matter if we agree. That's just the way the world works. I didn't agree with my manager at the movie theater. I just shut up and did my job. I loved going to the movies. I liked going to free movies. It was awesome. We can't forget Donald De La Haye chose to quit football. There was a scenario in which De La Haye could have continued to play football, but he chose another option. And honestly, it looks like this was a pretty good situation for him. At some point, football was going to end, and he would have had to move on to his career. So this whole situation gave him a ton of new followers. His channel's kind of blown up. Despite the way it's been framed, I don't feel bad for Donald De La Haye. Life forces us to make tough decisions, and often we have to deal with bad managers and bad bosses. That's life. I'm glad my dad has been telling me the whole way that we have to deal with bad managers and bad bosses. My whole life, my dad has told me that since I was in 4th grade, and I'm so grateful for that.